Maybe they ran out of stuff. That could very well be.
Бля, мне уже неохота смотреть, я уже тупо устал.
Не, я хочу посмотреть.
Не, мне как бы интересно, ну да, я тоже хочу пойти поспать или поваляться, почитать, потому что уже, вот у нас, например, сейчас 11 часов уже, 10 минут 1, 12 уже.
Короче, пацаны, я уже не могу.
Я пошел за водичкой и кофе.
Давайте, я посмотрю.
Давай.
Пришли значки и пойду.
А как посмотреть, типа, пришли они или нет?
Надо зайти в рандом и просто значки зайти.
А, реально?
А ты не веришь.
Чё, пацаны?
Я просто... Слышь, такой вы базарите?
Чё?
Чё,
Я сижу такой, слышу, вы что-то базарите, а это у меня это включено, трюк вот лишь.
Просто абсолютно.
Капец.
Ты не поймешь этой шутки.
Леха, смотри, принимаешь смешнявку на лицо. У меня челка настолько длинная, что когда пытаюсь попить из своей любимой кружки, у меня челка свисает в кружку.
Абсолютно.
Абсолютно.
Честно, я когда увидел вот этого, блядь, мужика с вот этим реально длинным, песное слово.
Это правда.
И опять они все своими фалосами бьются, заебали.
Не, я вот сейчас вот смотрю, пришло мне или нет, и я пошел.
Ну, я сейчас тоже чекну и дальше продолжу чекать.
Я чекну, наверное. И либо пойду почитаю и спать, потом лягу, либо не знаю.
Читаешь? Ты
Фанфики.
что?
Манга.
Фанфики. Нихуя не манга, я не анимешник. Я не анимешник, иди нахуй.
Я бы мангу почитал.
Ну почитай.
Не хочу. Я не анимешник.
Ничего ты взрываешь. Ну круто, мы теперь знаем геймплей за них.
Теперь мы знаем, кто из нас пидор.
Карик, хочешь эту кавейру красивую? Лови.
Не, мне кинь.
Чеки. Кавейру красивую.
Ты мне ВК что ли скинул?
Блять, конечно же это.
Это что, аниме кавейру, которую я делал? Салют, бля.
Я видел где-то Эллу, которую натягивали. А, слушай, мне не появилось. Сука, если я найду картинку, это там, где Эллу натягивали, я тебе скину, чтобы ты этот логотип Ubisoft на Харю одна, да как про Эллу натягивали.
Хорошо.
И этот, знаешь, вместо члена это. Ну, там хотя члена не видно, короче. Просто этот.
Юплей за место члена.
Юплей за место теле этот нерв надпись.
Хорошо.
Такого тема. Сейчас, если я смогу это найти, это будет топчик.
Короче, Ubisoft и нерв.
Да, Ubisoft и нерв.
Ну и у меня на стриме эта хрень будет здесь что? Я прям на стриме буду.
Я пытаюсь найти этот момент, где Эллу
Ебеда, да?
Even have an Ash on the Evil Genius side. They're definitely favoring that utility, and I think rightfully so, as this attack is going to be utility heavy. NVK just waiting up on the roof. Pretty typical on Cafe attacks that you'll have a lot of presence on the roof as an attacking team, just waiting for the round to commence, really.
Looked like easily was going to leap out of the window onto the balcony to take the rappel. Evil Genius's member down, but wasn't able to do it. Now, both of these teams have scrimmed each other an awful lot. They are both very known quantities and could argue that they are two of the most notable North American teams at the moment. They know each other's strategies very well. Rogue knows Cafe very, very well itself, and Evil Geniuses will assuredly be using whatever strategies they can to try and thwart them. Already some contact as Flash is on the stairs, Eclipse tags in.
Мне сейчас реально обидно.
Fire down on a Canadian inside of Cigar Lounge just by pixel spot, but none of those shots landing just yet.
Slow clear here for EG on the top floor. Rogue just trying to avoid any points, and it's gonna actually go against them as BC gets the knee to Slashug, who has been performing pretty well in this tournament. He's not gonna have a chance to perform in this round.
Хочешь, могу Валькирию кинуть веселую?
Clear out Cocktail Lounge just on the eastern side of that third floor for a push. I feel like we say it every single time, but the most important aspect of attacking the site with sites above it is to clear out the gives you a lot
Сможешь такое заделать?
from the defenders.
Ты что, за когда такая дичь пустится в одном паблике в ВК, в который я подписывался ради держащего? Интересный.
Да самое чувство, то, что когда это появляется все на стриме. Походу я сохраняют. Фотографии. Ай, сука, у меня стекло оказывается в пальце, я-то думаю, хули это хуёво играл.
Стекло у тебя откуда в пальце взялось?
Я телефон разобрал.
Роги выебали из жизни. Ебать, у них у всех Red Bull. Один там стол хиппих.
Так, чекаю.
Good delay on the top floor there from Rogue. Evil Genius is taking way too slow. And once they had the control upstairs, they didn't utilize it very well. Opening up the drop and simply pushing it to the side, expecting smokes to cover the flank. That's not gonna happen. Clips, but an excellent flank from Dining into Train will deny that diffuse point inside of Wheel Room. Now, Evil
Не знаю, звездобол, наверное. Ему этот не понравилось, то что его BBC засняло. Его BBC бесит.
Его BC.
BC за BC. Извести, но не BC.
BBC доверяется как BC.
И GC за BC. Господи, прости за балахульство. Не могу. Слишком смешно.
Да бесцветные все мозги, наверное, не да? Второй монитор.
We've seen a lot of Ying and a lot of
Йен, Зофия, Хибана, Слэш, Тэтчер,
You can smoke them off and then you can concuss the ever-living heck out of them onto the actual site itself, allowing one of your entry fraggers to be able to get in. I would imagine that right now it's going to be Brian and Eclipse covering that role, as Avian with Diffuser will likely be doing support.
I mean, it definitely looks like that we are slowly inching out of the trap meta into the disruption meta. And with the addition of those two new operators, those attackers that are coming out later that you just saw announced, I think we're going to sink farther and farther into said disruption meta.
The trap meta does, I guess, sort of counter Leon.
Kind in a way, yeah.
They've taken complete control of the roof. See celebratory wiggle from Eclipse as they open up the top hatch over red stairs and drop a drone down. One EMP's already going to go off.
Точка есть.
Two to help dislodge some of the...
На кафешке Достоевский узнал точку одну классную, если с крыши заходить. Видел прострел под люком? Топово. Я, честно, не замечал такого никогда.
Не, я знал об этом простреле.
Не, я не знал.
Я про него уже давно знал.
Ну, честно, я не видел, не юзал. Я не видел, чтобы хоть кто когда-либо там стрелял вообще. Честное слово, ни разу не видел. Не ботами, сука, флудя.
Slow going here for Rogue, rightfully so. This is what you got to expect on the top floor attack. Bandit's going to be playing inside of that bathroom, looking to stall out the piano push as much as possible. That's Canadian. He's going to be able to bandit trick his mirror window should a Thatcher and a Hibana come his way.
Very similar to what we saw on the second floor, is that both teams incredibly patient. This is a supremacy style attack where they wait until the final 30 seconds before collapsing on the defenders. A team that I guess Rogue would know well, as they vanquished just yesterday. In fact, their strong play on this site was integral for it. Canadian gets eclipsed, and NBK through the wall tries to pressure one. Brian and Slash answer back. NBK unable to answer, but beat.
Ну, рогов поимели.
Will leave just one. Avian all on his own gets the diffuser down. And you can see with easily done, it's all up to the bird. He's by himself against 3 members of EG.
Пока что счет 1-1.
But outside NBK comes.
А я вижу,
down
я
like a
смотрю.
clay pigeon. They grab that diffuser and we are tied at 1.
Defense now looking pretty strong on Cafe. Different bomb sites from each team, but the way that EG held that was pretty beautiful. They
А,
didn't
это не он, алло.
overextend in any instance. They had control over everything they really needed, which was the reading room downstairs as well as the main bomb sites.
Что это за наушники они используют?
A
Мне
little bit of a
интересно.
misread from Rogue. They played it way too slow. Expected maybe some
Мне
aggressive,
реально интересно,
but it
что за
just wasn't
наушники.
happening there. And as they made that final push into the site,
Это
they had nothing
HyperX.
going their way, no amount of control. That would
Бля,
aid them.
просто я смотрю логотипов хайперивцевских, которые они любят клепать просто во все щели их наушников, просто не видно.
Looks like we might have a rehost potentially here, as this was in the prep phase. MDK is going to drop as well, so it's likely to be a rehost here, ladies and gentlemen.
Attackers have recovered their
Evil Geniuses file out with all tied up. That'll end round number 3. On a draw, we'll come back at 1 apiece.
Unfortunate. But yeah, still an even match for both teams. See if which team is able to get their attacks down a little bit stronger moving forward.
Полетели сервера Ubisoft,
Now, one thing
как
I liked
всегда.
about that attack was, from both teams, was you didn't really see any member
Честное слово, у Ubisoft всегда сервера летят.
up to snuff. The pushes were decently coordinated. They understand the way that EG roams on the site and the way that Rogue likes to attack it. They almost always maintained a strong buddy system to ensure that you were trying to fight for traits. I mean, if you look,
Чё, у них
no
опять
further
на
than just
внутри
the speed at
полетели
which that
сервера?
kill feed moved,
Да, у них
know
снова.
that there were multiple crossfires set up so that when one went down, another would be taken out immediately. That's the way to play.
Слушай,
And
напомни, в доте роги есть или нету? По-моему,
of
есть.
both of
Ой,
these
вроде
teams
есть.
as well.
Тоже что-то не
So as the
помню.
players file back
Я
into
вот
the
тоже.
lobby, we should be getting underway. In
Я помню
just
то, что они в
a
КС
moment.
вроде бы есть, вот именно
It won't
100%.
show it. However, the second
Но
floor
вот насчет доты я не помню.
will be locked.
Я помню, роги, кажется, есть в лоле.
Bakery down on the first
Да,
floor,
в Лоле
which
они
is
есть, точно я знаю.
very unlikely, or they can go up top.
Я просто в свое время немножко в лол играл.
Я
EG
тоже.
play on.
На
So yeah,
турнирах
that's very
участвую.
much more likely. Unless,
Я не знаю, я ни на какие турниры никогда не
up their sleeves, they mean, yeah, we're
Всегда
gonna do
никогда не
a
нравилось.
kitchen bakery defense and we're gonna do it successfully. That's
Я помню, блин,
something that
пока
often happens.
тот же самый
Usually, if you
Карик
go
там
down
с
to the bottom
какими-то
floor
своими
on this map,
друзьями лазил там по всяким
the only reason you
турнирам.
win it is through just
Мне это, мягко говоря,
dumb
тупо
luck
не нравилось. Я
and
просто
negligence on the other
небольшой
team.
любитель всего
It's
этого.
pretty hard for an attacker
Потому что
to
я
control
люблю, как
that
бы так
result.
сказать, командную работу, а если командная работа,
So,
то
like you see
слаженная.
that top floor defense, as you
А то,
said,
как они, извиняюсь,
I'm
играли,
expecting it
меня
to keep
мягко
going the way it
торгал. Да
has
и плюс они
been
все равно
so
проебали.
far.
Как я и
As you
говорил.
said earlier, a lot of these engagements just going
Я
as
им
you would
говорил,
expect,
что они, блин,
because
с
no
такой
one's
охрененной
really
тимой
not showing
просрут.
up. Everybody is
У них саппорт был, который, извиняюсь, за фрагами гонялся
and their
на
gameplay
турнире.
is as you would expect.
I was a little confused as to what they had the Zofia of easily doing downstairs. He took it.
Не, манал, блин. Я не хочу
Imagine that
тиме,
he's probably
которая не может правильно отыгрывать по своей роли.
So I would have expected what they're
Если
probably
человек
doing.
не
That's
может до
actually-
своей
I didn't even think
роли
about this.
просто
NBK was playing in reading room
отыграть
counter
правильно,
push
то
exactly, because
какие
think
тут
about,
турниры?
Zofia and what she can do from inside of reading room to attack and top floor. You can open up the drop down and freezer, and if not the drop down, you can open up the floor next to the drop down, and you just flood freezer with the concussions. So that's like the perfect role to be putting into your reading room and doing that disruption, and that's like a core part of the defense. So obviously that was the plan for Rogue, but EG reading into that and having a counter in place. NVK, one of the best,
Запустили
I think,
всё-таки.
individual players to put in
На этот раз быстро.
himself, especially on an Ella.
The exact same operators being ran from EG on this site as we get underway with round number 3. We'll head back into Cafe. And no surprise, they'll go up to Bar Cocktail. As you said, they are not some of their North American brethren who would rather go down to Kitchen.
We can't. But yeah, they're
Бля, прикинь, бы такая ситуация получилась бы на про-сцене, если бы два брата, к примеру, играли с разной.
And the rest of Freezer. So there's two different ways you can do that, right? Two different ways you can do this setup by Freezer. You can either open up rotation there.
К примеру, вот финал какой-нибудь игры, тут эти два брата в разных командах встречаются друг против друга.
Or you could do what Rogue is doing here, which is
Прикинь,
cut
ну
off that
такое
rotation
жесткое
so that you can
противостояние братьев.
It makes holding certain things a little bit more difficult, but it also means if you lose control of White Hallway or Pixel Spot, which is just outside of White
Типа от
Hallway,
их игры зависит тупо от все. Либо они друг друга, либо проигрывают.
That's not the case.
It gives you more control over that bar back stock room as well. You don't need to necessarily have somebody playing deep in the freezer. And if a second mirror is put up on the wall on the eastern side of the building, just outside of Cocktail, then you have that double lane to be able to see from quite far away. We've seen some ACOG operators been played from there before if they get pushed off of Cocktail inside of Cigar. Hatch from above will blow. And you can see, it's been about a minute. They've just started their roam clear on that second floor.
Looks like it's just going to be NVK again on that Jackal. He is really favoring the Jackal, and there, no Ash is kind of a weird thing to be seeing. I honestly, you know, you say
Блин, я думал Шакала купить.
Ash main, and
Кстати, как вариант.
derogatory
У меня
thing, but
есть
I think
аккаунт
NVK,
Шакала.
one of the best Ella Ash mains out there. Having him play
У меня вообще два
Jackal
лишних
is
аккаунта есть.
almost like you're hindering him, but clearly, I mean, I think it's working out for him so far. As he peeks into Dining, he's actually going to lose the fight, though, to Eclipse,
Ты
who
вообще за
is
него
all the way
катаешь?
outside of Dining with a little
Let's go.
melee hole there in the
Прикольно.
wall, expecting
Да, я
that
за него
push.
что-то
Slash
как
Dog's going to
4,
get a
наверное,
second for
сыгрался.
Rogue, as Canadian, the team
Такой
captain, goes down. And that's a lot of the roam clear just done and dusted for Evil Geniuses. They're going to rely on a 3-man push into the site, likely.
И лол, минус 3 Genius, а эти роги все еще фуловые. Тупо они все минус 1 рог. Сейчас будет еще один минус Genius, скорее всего.
They have been able
Нет.
to roam freely and wildly, though Slash pays from BC, but you can see Eclipse waiting. Lights up the buck, but he manages to get away. They'll play ring around the
Сравнивают
through the
потихоньку.
doorway with 1 minute left.
Every single time Evil Genius is pushed in, except for this time, Young's gonna take down Eclipse, and Rogue are feeling very strong right now, but they are putting it into a 2-on-3. BC getting picked up by Young, good teamwork there. Still has the diffuser in hand, but with only 40 seconds, they don't have a lot of time to work with. Rogue obviously gonna come off that roam.
See, they'll creep up top of red. They're both together. There's still a smoke and a yokai in play, as well as a nitro cell. There's 3 operators worth of utility to stop a push in its tracks when both members of the attack try to flood in through the same.
Отъехал один рог, и все, роги выебали в
And a smoke goes off a little early. He'll outduel BC, even though that ACOG has a much greater range and easily shreds through Young. Rogue regains the lead.
Лех, ты смотреть будешь?
Я смотрю.
Ты полностью будешь смотреть?
Ну, я не знаю.
Good hold there from Rogue. The main thing to note is that they completely countered the clear of
Да,
the
наверное, пойду
roamers
сейчас.
downstairs.
Давай.
That was a well done.
Мне уже сидеть просто надоело.
Every single time Evil Geniuses pushed.
Если что, смотри либо в ВК, либо в Дискорде. Напиши, пожалуйста, кто выиграет, если досмотришь до этого момента. Давай, удачи. Спокойной ночи вам, спокойной ночи всем.
Downstairs. Especially after those 2 players were lost. You saw Rogue, the rest of the roamers just went back upstairs, held the site, and didn't take any unnecessary risks.
I mean, you kind of negated Jackal's ability when you roam on only 1/2 of the building, knowing full well that the easiest way to get in is going to be the opposite side. Now, since it was locked for them, Cocktail out of the question with Evil Geniuses, they'll go down to Fireplace Mining Hall. The train segment just to the bottom left in between the 2 sides.
Самое главное, дырки спрятать.
Something interesting to note about Rogue's play so far on Cafe is that they've been mainly focused on that middle floor, which is counter to, I think, the primary mode of thinking
тут
for
не видно.
most teams.
А тут не видно.
A lot of the time, when you're even defending the middle floor, you're gonna roam very heavily upstairs. Rogue specifically did not do that. When they went into that middle floor defense, they roamed a little bit up on the top, but they fell extremely fast. They didn't try to waste too much time. They didn't try to get in too many fights. They just went back downstairs. They only roamed upstairs for the sake of putting up a facade of, hey, you have to spend some time clearing us. And that's kind of an interesting mentality when you don't see a whole lot on Cafe of just giving up the high ground.
So Rogue, all looking like they spawned together, will now begin to climb up towards the top of the roof. Both teams struggling with the off-site players really heavily, as you alluded to. That's something that I would imagine is not just helps the defense, but we'll find ourselves in another circumstance similar to yesterday, when the first team to win a successful attack can blow this wide open. Look no further than the final matchup between Evil Geniuses and FaZe. All it took was one attacking round victory, and that was it for the series.
Kind of interesting here, Evil Geniuses hasn't reinforced the top of red stairs, which, while they're playing a pretty passive top floor hold, is going to mean Rogue isn't going to need to use any hard destruction to get through that wall, which helps them out a lot. Despite this well set up mirror window to handle it, I still think you could have potentially wasted some utility there. NVK, though, known for his excellent shooting skill, is going to be fighting easily all the way inside of Piano, forcing him back without any second guesses. BC from below, C4 onto Eclipse. Good teamwork there between him and Canadian, coordinating with that heartbeat detector.
That's one very potent fragger taken down. Slash Hug from top manages to see NVK, so pushes out a laundry room, but Canadian shreds him. And now Evil Geniuses has extended their operator lead to 2. Canadian sets down a Claymore at the top of red stairs, leading his team so that they don't have to worry as hard about flanks, even though it's been possible to take care of it. Some bucking from above will give us just about a minute left. As you can see, Rogue, now lacking a Ying, will have to figure out a different way inside of sight. You'll often see they will overwhelm with those Candelas and smokes and then make a quick push through. That is not an option now.
Rogue now going to have to rely on getting some picks via those holes from above. If they don't, when they go for the inevitable sight push, they will likely see no success. Have to be very lucky and a good amount of negligence on Evil Genius's side for that to happen. As Evil Genius doesn't give away any angles right now or any picks, Rogue, with the last 30 seconds, are looking like they're going to have a struggle here. Canadian at the bottom of red stairs, heart beats onto Brian, calling that out for his team. Easily looking to drop into red hallway. Avian looking to drop into train. Here comes Easily. As he goes down with Brian. They know Canadian's downstairs, but they don't expect BC to the side. Avian's gonna refrag. Brian gets one of his own. A 2-on-3 here. Rogue is starting to crawl back into this, but with only 9 seconds, Necrox gets Brian. Avian refrags onto Young, and NVK is gonna finish it off. Avian goes down, and Evil Geniuses will win another defense, just a continuation of that trend.
The crowd trying to get a reluctant cheer going.
There we go.
That's better. Rogue will go back to defense. They have cocktail locked, so train, or rather the section around train that we call train, but Fireplace Mining Hall will likely be the site, and indeed, that's where they lock in right now. And it will likely be these two sites that the teams quarrel over and between.
Very important to note that this is Rogue's map pick. They definitely wanted to go to this map, and it's seen a bit of a struggle despite that fact. Evil Genius is just as lethal on this map as any other.
Let's talk about the map bans for a second here, because I think that this strongly favors Rogue. I'm very happy if this is the scenario that we have. Cafe is typically a very strong map for Rogue. We know this. They are one of the best teams, not just in NA, but possibly all of Pro League. They go up against Supremacy, who themselves, we've been told, are quite a phenomenal team on that map in EU. Clubhouse as second is a map that, despite it being strong for Evil Geniuses, we saw them lag behind on. They were challenged by 1UP at least once, and FaZe as well on that map, showing that they are mortal. They are absolutely beatable. If Cafe goes to Evil Geniuses, as I said before, I think that Rogue is in trouble, so it's imperative that they take this away. But if Cafe goes to Rogue, Clubhouse is probably one that EG could lose and find Rogue taking a 2-0. I think they got, right now, these bans, in my opinion, strongly favor Rogue, and that should be wind at their back.
On the other hand, the third map in the series, which is Consulate, I do feel like, knowing these players personally, that it will favor Evil Geniuses. A map that a lot of the Evil Geniuses guys have just, on a personal level, not just a strategic level, they really enjoy playing. It's something they're going to be looking forward to, I'm sure, if Evil Geniuses doesn't get that 2-0, which, as you said, isn't very likely, given that these first two maps slightly in favor of Rogue. Now that said, these two teams do really know each other inside and out, as you stated as the match started. So while I think this is a ban phase in favor of Rogue, it can only be ever so slightly, and I don't think it's going to matter too much in the long run, certainly not in the match overall, given that they both know each other so well.
Slash positioned on one of the landings of White Stairs, has an ADS at his disposal to shoot any of those projectiles through the air before they get to him. You see one frag grenade goes. It did sound like it detonated just a touch too early, so it won't burn any of that ADS. BC will now throw a grenade up and discover that there is indeed an active defense system there.
Wouldn't have really mattered. There's nobody standing on the White Stairs anymore, and Evil Geniuses has spent a lot of time and utility trying to clear out that roam. They've done it successfully, and they are going to start using this top floor control to their advantage. Now, last time they had this, they had a good amount of pressure being put downstairs, but couldn't get a single pick as a result. So that's going to be the thing they aim to change this time, or at least Evil Geniuses as compared to Rogue.
Now have to speed things up, and even doubly so, as Canadian is the first casualty. The IGL and captain of Evil Geniuses falls to Slashug's carbine of the Jaeger. You've lost your sledge. He'd already used one frag grenade, but still had that soft destruction from above that could be quite handy, especially in applying consistent pressure after getting down to the site. But BC eliminating Avian, that's your castle. His gadget's already down. Most pressingly is that Pulse still on the move. Right now playing just outside of Bakery by the main corridor. Downstairs is spotted on a drone and gets pushed easily. What a read, and Young falls. But Slash and Brian adding to that. EG right now relying solely on Necrox, who manages to eliminate the Pulse. Brian seals the deal. The defense right now, 5 consecutive rounds. Rogue once again regains the lead.
Defense, defense, defense. Continuing that trend. Never ending seemingly on Cafe. Now, because none of these teams are going to have to defend the bottom floor, that'll probably just continue to be the trend, and we might see OT just favor the team that gets, you guessed it, that defense first. Or the team that breaks the trend as per usual and wins an attack will put themselves in a landslide position and win the map out. Bar Cocktail Lounge, the defense now for EG. They are likely to defend it similar to how they did last time. I really like the way they do it too. Pushing all the way back, not trying to overextend themselves. They use the bathroom and the rotation in said bathroom, but the way that they do the main freezer, that doesn't really play too much for Rogue.
Everybody on Rogue right now firing on all cylinders. This was before the rehost, and now extending into it as the scoreboard that you see before you does not
fully represent.
Correct. It doesn't have every single person's kills on it, just from the rehost itself. Now here's something interesting. We're going to see a Capitao and a Glass get brought out. Last time around, it was a Ying that was brought along with an Ash. In this case, they've been traded off. They're going to go with what appears to be a very heavy smoke push, using that Twitch to get the mirrors out, fire arrows to dislodge them, and then a drop either through that red hatch and a push inside. I'd imagine that's how they're going to aim to get that diffuser down.
Great thing about the Capitao smokes is they detonate on impact, so you can do a lot of creative things with them. For example, you can smoke on the skylight itself, so when you drop, there is no visual cue to the defenders. They won't know about it. No other smoke is really capable of doing that in this particular situation, so you can highlight it right there. You can put it on the skylight as you drop down. Another thing you can do is you can put them directly on mirror windows, which means no matter what, if somebody's playing near one of the mirror windows, if you're unable to disable them, then they won't have much visual at all. So Brian going to be a very important operator in this attack, depending on how Rogue chooses to go about it.
They have Avian with the diffuser duty yet again. I would argue that right now you're relying a lot on easily to be able to take care of those mirrors, and then Brian to follow through. You lose one of those two and your job gets a lot more difficult. The saving grace is that Slash on that Glass will have smokes himself. So even if you do lose the Capitao, which would be seriously detrimental to your chances on attack, you would have Glass being able to cover it and see through, as we've seen many, many times so far over the last couple days. Drop through Red Hatch, move inside of Cigar Shop, look towards Piano, easily eliminating NVK. That roamer, he's not going to get the best of him this time. It was NVK taking easily down before. They'll trade back this time.
Not exactly sure where MVK died, but it's definitely counter to what he was doing last time. Looks like, yeah, deep inside of reading. So that's easily actually pushing into the building. Brian takes Necrox down from the skylight. That's not supposed to happen. as Necrox seems to have neglected a very common angle. Bandit, that's Canadian, playing inside a bathroom, just looking to hold fast, but it's a very strong man advantage for Rogue. Here comes the smokes, and as they go down, Glaz going to look through them, look for those kills. Sees one, gets the one tap, Slash Hug. Gets Canadian, a nice shot from him. Can he get the second one tap? Slash Hug, you're insane. One more to find, that's Young, and Brian will eliminate him.
Very first attacking round win. Rogue extends their lead. That was very, very well practiced, and Slash leading by example. That was 2 shots and 2 kills. A beautiful flick from him.
And now we have match point because the very first successful attack on this map. Very well done from Rogue, and this again is what we're expecting to happen. So you have to remember that Evil Geniuses aren't exactly playing poorly. It's just Rogue who know what they're getting themselves into on this map. Now, as the operator selection comes out, Rogue is going to be able to defend the top floor. It's likely the site that they prefer to the middle floor. The only reason I'm guessing that they went to that middle floor first was just to try and trip up EG in some minor way. Brian going to be opening up some holes over by the red hallway as well as the red drop down. Now what that means is any roamer who has a C4 or even a gas canister from below will be able to throw it up into the doorway of Cigar. It's a very important spot to have. And if you're not even going to utilize it, it still makes Evil Geniuses think about that spot.
A question for you.
10 seconds remaining.
EG has ran with virtually the exact same composition every single time they have attacked either side. The only difference, they subbed out a Twitch for a Sledge. It's not really working. Their attacks haven't really borne any fruit at all. Why no change?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. There is little to no disruption on Evil Geniuses. They have a set of smokes from NVK. Other than that, none at all, unless you count breaking mirror windows thanks to the Twitch drone from Canadian. BC gonna get eclipsed though, and I'm not okay. That looks like it was through the drone hole. Wow. I have to, yeah, it was through the drone hole there at the top of the white garage. Good angle there from BC, and probably a little bit of patience, although we didn't get to see it. So that's Eclipse. It's a very important player down. But yeah, not enough disruption, I would say, on Evil Geniuses. I mean, we saw just the round prior, the very first attack that was successful on this entire map. Rogue bring tons of disruption, and still how that worked out for them. Slash Rogue gonna get the kill on NVK with a nice knife, but he's gonna get refragged. Necrox not letting his teammate go unavenged.
So they've taken 2 down, both roamers. You've once again facing down the 3 anchor players. These were the same 3 that Evil Geniuses had to deal with last time. Only difference is EG has double the numbers. Still, very potent abilities to prevent you from getting inside of the site. You have area denial, you have the actual just raw killing potential of Amira through that C4, and then the disruption, as we can call it, of the yokai drone. Canadian does get disoriented, he'll dive outside and a rotate. Have killed about half of the time right now, and BC a masterful shot through the floor. Easily had opened that one up last time, used it to his advantage, but EG takes it away from them. There's only 2 members of Rogue left.
Avian gonna be on those white stairs looking for BC. He only needs to back up 2 feet and he'll go down, but no, just a little bit of damage onto the lower torso. And Avian unable to secure that kill. BC now gonna be conscious of the angle. He's peeking into it. Doing a little bit of a double play here from BC. He's doing everything. On the east windows, you're gonna see Canadian. He's looking to fight onto Brian. We'll light him up, put him on low HP. That's very dangerous for Rogue.
They do pop one of the Miras. Avian pushing off of white stairs will now go inside of Cigar Lounge to welcome the Thatcher of Young and behead him. Diffuser goes down, so EG can rest a little bit better, but still don't know what they'll have against them. Necrox, his 2nd kill of the round. That is the bird down. Brian just needs to patiently wait. Unsure if there's still one on Repel guarding the cocktail windows. There's one at Skylight that we know of. On drone right now, it's the Twitch of Canadian. And he waits. Brian sees Necrox. 3 kills for Necrox on the round. EG stays alive and Rogue remains on match point.
So now we have seen 2 successful attacks, and Rogue is going to be thrust onto attack now themselves to try and deny that overtime. But it looks like Evil Geniuses are poised to take it all the way to that OT. They don't want to give up on Cafe just yet. Definitely not the match that I think Rogue was expecting going on to Cafe. Probably a lot more one-sided, but there's still potential for them to win it.
A very good challenge so far onto a map that Rogue is very comfortable on.
You know, historically, if you look further back, like 4 or 5 seasons ago, the Rogue, they were called something different back then, but Rogue were extremely uncomfortable on Cafe. It actually took, I believe, you know what the real change was probably their coach, Ranger. Once he got brought onto the team, I think he was able to bring a lot of new strategies and ideas and a whole new dynamic to their overall squad. So props to Ranger for putting in a lot of work there.
He's been heralded as one of the most successful and hardest working coaches. Of course, Rogue's success has been overshadowed by Evil Geniuses. That's part of what makes this match so exciting, is while the crowd is overwhelmingly in favor of EG, Rogue has always been the one to not benefit from that same, I guess, appreciation. So, always a good storyline behind it. And of course, one of Redemption 2. For those in the audience or those watching that don't know, this is a rematch.
Long time rematch.
A long time rematch.
You know, these are some of the oldest players in all of North America, and I'm not talking about one team or another. I mean, all of these players are some of the oldest ones. Brian and Easily specifically, I think, is the only one who hasn't been on the PC side since like the very beginning. Possibly Brian as well, but other than that, everyone here has been going at it for a long, long time.
Opening the top of Red Hatch and drones going in 30 seconds off of the clock. Round number 6. Match point still for Rogue. Evil Geniuses will either lose or tie it up and send us to overtime. So far, with the 6 rounds, 4 in favor of defense, 2, or rather 8 rounds, 6 rounds, no, 7 rounds. My apologies, I can't count.
You know, in terms of mentality, and I'm not talking about the potential for teams to beat each other, this is reminiscent a little bit of Penta versus ENCE, just in the way that these teams are seen within their own regions. Now again, that doesn't mean that one team is going to beat out the other definitively, given that stance. It just means that's how a lot of people see these guys.
Not scrim partners the same way, though.
No, not quite.
Not quite at all. So, Bad Blood aside, half of the round over. Some changes for Evil Geniuses as well. We haven't had a chance to really speak on this. Young, who looked so good on Legion yesterday, will run him this time around in Canadian onto a Vigil. For Rogue, they've taken that Glaz and done away with it, same as Capitao. They're just going to bring the Ying. You've seen there was a run out there that will distract the attention of Rogue. And Easily is dispatched now to try and hunt them down.
It's kind of an interesting choice from Rogue to mix up their lineup, considering it worked that one time. I would have expected them to continue to try and hammer that out, but I'm guessing that's probably, again, due to their coach of Ranger, who's just going to be like, okay, we have all these set strats, let's use the right one for the job, and once we use one and it works, let's not go back to it. Easily missing a couple important shots there. That's going to leave NVK with a sliver of HP left, but as an Ella, he definitely has a lot of potential to wreak havoc.
Smoke will go down, and that will pause them from pushing through the doorway of Cigar inside of the main area of the 3rd floor on Cafe.
Я, походу, буду вот так вот какие-нибудь арты, короче, скачивать. Может, смотри.
It's 30 seconds left. Your push is going to have to come very quickly. There's still a little hesitation on behalf of Rogue. Calls go out, and there go the smokes. 2 smokes, 2 Candelas. Another Toxic Babe goes down. Slash dives right in. He'll just sprint inside of the freezer. He sees the smoke, takes out Necrox. He's caught with his back against the wall, easily eliminating NVK. And right now, strong advantage in favor of Rogue. Canadian, though, eliminates Avian just after he gets that diffuser down. And Eclipse eliminating Canadian means that Rogue needs to be able to take this and push us to map number 2 on Clubhouse. Slash sits inside a freezer. BC down. Young is the last one left. He gets Slash, but 3 more. Eclipse finishes it off. Rogue takes map number 1. We'll head to Clubhouse.
Slash looked very proud of himself, rightfully so. Well done, Slash, with a nice push into Freezer, completely defanging the defense of Evil Geniuses. If it weren't for that well-calculated smoke in Candela, it's likely that we would have seen Rogue completely stall out. And that's obviously something that they planned on, they were relying on. Slashug has been having a fantastic job on Ying in this tournament throughout the group stages, as well as